Welcome to DJ TV.
E don settle. Emefiele lawyers don talk say if they investigate Emefiele, make they also investigate Buhari too.
Correct people, we greet you now. Welcome una to DJ TV, una WhatsApp channel wey dey sama una with ogbonge updates, breaking news, updated updates. So abeg my people, if you never subscribe to our YouTube channel, make una rush now, make una go subscribe and also turn on that notification bell so that anytime we like say we drop any update like this, una go dey notified gbanga. Our Facebook page, my people, make una follow us and make una dey like. Una do well. Anyway, my people, make we quickly run enter the tori and update we will carry come for una like this.
Yes, so my people, e don set like this. So Emefiele lawyers based on say they don charge Emefiele issue to court, they don begin talk now. This one wey come out now don dey talk say if at all say they wan dey investigate Emefiele just as they just dey do since, say make dem make sure say they drag Buhari follow body, because no be only Emefiele go dey drag up and down, because Emefiele no act with him own authority. Even though say he do some kind things with him own authority, he still get higher authority from the president. So anything wey they do, make dem drag Buhari follow body, make dem still investigate Buhari, because Emefiele no fit dey guilty of all the crime wey dem dey talk say he do, all the embezzlement and money matter wey dem say he run. No be only him one go do am, e get order from above and Buhari dey involved. So as they investigate and they drag her up and down, make dem also go drag Buhari follow. Anyway, my people, I no go talk too much. I upload now this video now, una watch this lawyer so for the interview we do for Arise, wetin he talk concerning this whole matter of Emefiele case. Make una watch.
The DSS.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, the DSS, following the ruling by the Federal High Court, I think Court of Justice James Omotosho, says, well, it will obey court ruling, and that indeed the chairman, the head of the central bank, suspended CBN chief Godwin Emefiele has been charged. Do you have any information as to the charges, and also to the court where he has been charged, what the charges are, and what the propriety of the response by the Department of State Services is?
Thank you. We just heard it from the press release of the DSS spokesperson that they will have charged him to court. Charging him to court is different from arraigning him. So that means they have commenced the procedure of charging him to court in compliance with the ruling of the Honorable Justice Muazu Hamza of the FCT High Court that have ordered them to either release him or charge him to court within 1 week. So we are yet, we've not seen a copy of the charge. Of course, the accused person who has been in illegal detention of the DSS and his lawyers should be privy to whatever charge that have been preferred against him. So definitely they will serve the charge on him or his lawyers. But the point remains that lawyers in defense of democracy had been in this saga ab initio from the 7th of December 2022 when DSS sought to obtain a black market ex parte application from the Federal High Court. I called it black market ex parte application because the Honorable Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, in his ruling, used the word that the DSS cannot use this Honorable Court to commence an irregular proceeding. So any judicial process that is commenced via an irregular proceeding is ab initio a nullity, is a black market procedure. That's what they had sought to obtain to frame Emefiele up on trumped up charges. False allegation of terrorism financing. The lawyers in defense of democracy held press conference in December where we alerted Nigerians that the DSS is about to frame this man up for what they allege to be terrorism financing and some financial crimes of national security dimension, which I described previously as a mere semantics and just using words to intimidate, harass, and to prefer false charges against the person of Godwin Emefiele. Thereafter, I'm taking us a historical background. Thereafter, on the 29th of December 2022, Justice M.A. Hassan of the FCT High Court made an order a perpetual injunction restraining the DSS from preferring any trump-up charges of terrorism financing against suspended CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. DSS participated in that proceeding, and as I'm talking to you, they have not appealed that decision. Or if they purport to have appealed that decision, there is no proper appeal existing in the Court of Appeal, because if you want to appeal a matter, you have to file a notice of appeal, transmit your record will be entered in the Court of Appeal, appeal number will be given to you. That is when appeal has been properly filed and properly entered. DSS have not done that. That order by Honorable Justice M.A. Hassan subsists. So whatever purported charge they have gone to file against him in compliance with yesterday's court order by Honorable Justice Muazu Hamza still remains illegal ab initio, and that is our position. And unless a court of competent jurisdiction, a higher court, which is only the Court of Appeal, that can set aside the judgment of Honorable Justice M.A. Hassan that was delivered on the 29th of December 2022. That is our position, and it remains so because we operate a country where there is rule of law, and rule of law entails that all heads of institutions and all institutions of government, inclusive of the DSS, inclusive of their director, they are subject to the law and they must obey the basic principles of rule of law. Rule of law does not empower the DSS to disregard an order of a court of competent jurisdiction. The only thing they can do within their constitutional right is to go to a higher court, an appellate court, to set it aside. So far as that judgment remains, whatever they are doing in purporting to file any charge against Emefiele remains illegal ab initio. And now let us ask again. On the 7th of December 2022, they filed this expert application before the Federal High Court, where they framed this man up, which we alerted Nigerians that they are going to frame him up on false allegation of terrorism. Between 7th of December to 10th of June, when you arrested him, you still didn't have enough evidence to charge him. So what they did is to prove us right when we held a live media conference and alerted Nigerians that they are about to frame this man on false allegation. So it took them almost 1 month. They held him for more than 1 month now. It took them only yesterday's court order that directed them to either release him or charge him to court to now go and file whatever charge they purport to have filed. So that means they have just proved us right. They have just confirmed our live press conference in December that they were going to frame this man up on false allegations. Because if from the 7th of December, when you file a reciprocal application at the Federal High Court, till 10th of June, when you arrested him, you still didn't have enough evidence to charge him to court. That means, as we alerted Nigerians, it is true that whatever they are doing against Emefiele are falsehood. And again, whatever Emefiele did as CBN governor had presidential approval. So if they have anything they want to dig that is traceable to him, they should also know that it should be traceable to the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, and they should also bring him to book so that vis-a-vis Emefiele, they can defend themselves, as to whatever allegation the DSS might be charging against him.
All right.
Be that as it may, DSS, upon searching Emefiele's house, found only 300,000 naira in his house. Does it mean that Emefiele, from his legitimate entitled earnings, cannot have 300,000 naira in his house? And a license for pump action. That is the only thing they found in his house. Any other thing they come up tomorrow that they found in Emefiele's house is pure falsehood. The only two things they found in Emefiele's house is 300,000 naira cash and a license for pump action gun. And it took them almost more than 1 month, and until the court intervened yesterday for them to go and file a charge, which confirmed the entire story, the entire saga, and as pronounced by Honorable Justice M.A. Hassan, whatever they purport to file are trumped up terrorism allegations. They are falsehood ab initio, and they will remain so.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Okere. As an institution, why is it difficult for the DSS, because this is not the first time. We've had incidents whereby we've had to have, public outcry, organizations like yourself, civil society organizations coming up to speak in defense of some people held illegally in DSS, or at least against their fundamental human rights in DSS custody. What's the way forward? How do we end this, what could be said to be impunity? Because this is a democracy and the rule of law must be obeyed. What is the solution? Because beyond suspended Governor Godwin Emefiele, there are other Nigerians, there are other people who have talked about the way the DSS handles cases. What's your solution to this?
Well, of course, you know the DSS have track record of disobeying court order. Is their stock in trade. They also have a track record of invading people's home in the wee hours of the night or in the morning, like 2 o'clock, 2 a.m., 1 a.m. in the midnight, as they did to serving justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. And how did the matter ended? Of course, you know how the matter of the invasion of the serving justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, how it ended. So that is their stock in trade. DSS have always proved itself as an agency that flout the rule of law. They see themselves to be above the law, whereas they are established by just a piece of legislation. The Security Agencies Act, it is hereby established, State Security Department, just a piece of legislation that was given presidential signatory. That becomes that institution. And they now see themselves to be over and above the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that established the Federation, where all arms of government must operate within the ambit of the Constitution. That is an aberration to the Constitution. That has always been their stock in trade. So like you said, the way forward is that this is a new administration. We hope the administration stay. We wish them luck at the tribunal. But then the way forward is that Tinubu, who is presently the president of Nigeria, has a track record of believing in rule of law. One example is that he fought former President Olusegun Obasanjo when he withheld the local government allocations due to Lagos State, because Tinubu felt that it is within the constitutional authority of the Lagos State Assembly to create more local governments or development centers, as they are properly called today. And President Obasanjo disagreed with him. He went to court. He pursued that cause diligently up to the Supreme Court, and he won. And several other cases, this man believes in the rule of law. He believes in opposition politics. So we are calling on the incumbent president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you should not allow the overzealousness of the Director General of DSS to tarnish your hard-earned reputation of believing in rule of law, of believing in opposition politics. And of course, in his inaugural speech, he promised Nigerians that he was going to rule in accordance with the rule of law, that he was not going to be a forceful president, that he will going to obey the Constitution which he swore to uphold. So we now ask him, why are you still leaving this man in office? All other service chiefs have been removed. Why do you leave him? Probably because he participated in the whole politics of old and new naira by attempting to initially frame Emefiele up by going to Federal High Court to seek expert application. And of course, it is widely believed that he belongs to Tinubu's camp, and that is why the president is still living in office. So we are telling the president, this is not the right way to begin. This is not the right way to begin. Nobody is above the entire Federal Republic of Nigeria. Look for a more competent hand and replace that person. Because if Labinusho, his appointment was a sort of controversy. We learned in the public, there was information in the public domain that he has retired, and former President Muhammadu Buhari, in his characteristic manner of not following the law in making certain appointments, like he appointed the former DG of Custom, a retired army, also brought him back, Bichi, to serve as in the DSS, an institution that has long retired, as we read in the media. So we are telling the incumbent president to do things right. You don't have to sack other service chiefs and leave him because he was in your own camp during the saga of old and new naira politics. That is not the way to begin. You should ensure that you are a man of principle, and you are looking for fresh, competent people that will head institutions of government, that will ensure that the rule of law is maintained, that will ensure that there is no anarchy in the land. That is when Nigerians will begin to have faith in the government.
Okay, real quickly. Another argument is this Administration of Criminal Justice Act, ACJA, that says all you just need is to get a permission from the magistrate to keep somebody for a while. What would you say about ACJA and all of this?
Any provision of any law that is inconsistent with the provision of the 1999 Constitution is ab initio illegal, is ab initio void. and to extent of its inconsistency is there in section 1, in section subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution. The Constitution remains supreme. So what is the law is what the Constitution says. And so if you look at section 35 of the 1999 Constitution, it says if any person is arrested, because you can arrest somebody. One of the limitations to freedom of liberty is if you want to arrest somebody for the purpose of bringing him to justice. So the Constitution says the person should be arraigned to court within a reasonable time. And if you look at subsection 5, it said where there is a court of competent jurisdiction within a kilometer of 4 radius, you at least 1 day, or in any other case, 2 days, the person should be arraigned to court. That is what I believe in. The Constitution is the ground norm. Whatever profession the Administration of Criminal Justice have that is inconsistent with the 2 days prescribed by the Constitution to charge any person arrested to court, from in my own belief, and of course we are public interest lawyers. We have filed several public interest cases. We will also go back to test this section of the law to know whether that provision of Administration of Criminal Justice Act should continue to exist, or whether it should be amended and expunged because it is inconsistent with the Constitution. What the Constitution says is 2 days where there is a court of competent jurisdiction within a kilometer of at least 40 kilometer radius. So from the office of the DSS to the Federal High Court to the FCT High Court is very, very close for them to have arraigned him in court within 2 days of arresting him on the 10th of June 2023. But it took them almost 1 month until the court intervened yesterday for them to now go and file a charge. So which means they don't have ab initio any evidence of this man committing and financing any terrorism. There is no account traceable to Emefiele that is financing terrorism that they have found. I stand to be proved wrong. Let them give us whatever the charge they have filed. At least it should be attached with proof of evidence. Whatever they have, let's look at it.
Kingdom.
The only 2 things they found in Emefiele's house, like I said previously.
Kingdom, I get the arguments you've made about. I get the arguments you've made about adjectival law. Okay, it's Section 36 of the 1999 Constitution that deals with right to fair hearing, sections of which you were referring to. Are you saying that there is a conflict between ACJA 2015 and Section 36 of the Constitution? Are you recommending that ACJA needs to be amended? Because what ACJA does is, in fact, to ensure speedy dispensation of justice. That's the first question. Are you also saying
yes, sir.
That, just a moment. Are you also saying
yes,
that, look, what has taken place here is a fundamental enforcement of human rights procedure 2019. That's the basis on which the court ruled that Emefiele is entitled to his fundamental rights. Are you saying that the DSS, saying that, okay, it will now file charges, or it has filed charges, are you saying that the DSS has done something illegal in that regard? You were quoting a ruling in November 2022. Hold on. But you know also that the latest ruling in law, is the superior one. I don't want to speak Latin. If you could just help us clarify these issues.
Okay, sir. Okay, let me take you first of all. Section 36 is talking about the basic fundamental rights of an arrested, of an accused person. He should have right to access to his lawyer. He should fair hearing. And so those ones are applicable as to arresting somebody, arraigning him before the court, giving him time to prepare for his defense, allowing him access to his lawyer. So those rights are attached to the individual accused person. But Section 35, subsection 5, of the 1999 Constitution. I'm talking about the particular section that justifies the breaching the right to freedom of personal liberty, which is Section 35, subsection 4. So where it says that if you are arresting anybody based on Section 35, subsection 1C, which is for the purpose of bringing him to court, that you should arraign him in the court within a reasonable time. And Section 35, subsection 5 defined what reasonable time is. So that is what I am saying. Section 35, subsection 5 define what reasonable time is. It says reasonable time where there is a court within the radius of 40 kilometers. 1 day. The Constitution have defined it. So whatever provision that is there in the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, I'm saying that if it is inconsistent with this provision of Section 35, subsection 5 of the 1999 Constitution that said where there is a court within a radius of 40 kilometers, arraign him within 1 day or in any other circumstance 2 days, which is Section 35, subsection 5 A and B. If there is any provision in ABJA that is inconsistent with it, it remains inconsistent and null and void to the extent of its inconsistency. But it will not require the court to formally pronounce this once it is litigated upon, probably to seek interpretation to these two sections. So that is the point I'm making. Then on the question whether the charge they purport to have filed would be illegal. The charge will not be illegal because the court ruled yesterday that he should be charged to court within 1 week or release him. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the charge is ab initio illegal so long as the judgment of Honorable Justice M.A. Hassan of the FCT High Court delivered on the 29th of December 2022 has not been set aside. Whatever charge they file against Emefiele or they purport to have filed against Emefiele would be illegal and will be challenged. And that is my position, and I believe in the rule of law.
Are you saying that the CBN governor?
That the DS.
Are you saying that the CBN governor is above the law? Principle. Can you speak to the principle?
They should go and set up. He's not above the law. That is why he went to court. He didn't say on his own, I'm Emefiele, you cannot arrest me. He went to court and said, court, enforce my fundamental human rights. And his fundamental human right was enforced. That is what we are saying. We are not saying everybody should take laws into his own hands. Then we're going back to the primordial state of nature when people resort to self-help. He didn't resort to self-help. He went to a court, an institution established by the Constitution.
Thank you very much.
DSS was established by the Constitution.
Mr. Kingdom Okere.
So that's what we are saying. DSS, they should go and set aside that order.
Hey, my people, not be small thing though. This is Emefiele matter so Anyway, my people, make una drop una comment and reason this whole matter. Make una no forget to like and share.
DJ